The P-47 had an R-2800 double Wasp in it, and it was the heaviest single-engine fighter of World War II. Alongside of being the heaviest, it had an insane dive rate speed, which meant it was the fastest as well. But anyways, this thing was a tank. It could literally be equipped with anything and handle any type of damage. It could pull out of harsh turns because it was so structurally like perfect. What is up, guys? Thank you guys so much for tuning in again to this next video of the P-47N. Now, previously I did a P-47 Razorback, which came a little bit before this kit. Kind of going in order with all my P's and Q's and B's and stuff. So you can expect another pursuit fighter in the next video, which will be the 51, of course. But if you want to check out a full version of the history behind the P-47, go ahead and check out that Razorback video. I'm just going to skim through a couple of facts here, and we'll get straight to the differences of the P-47N and the Razorback. So stay tuned, check out that other video, but also stay tuned for the full build of these awesome P-47s. Here is a picture of the P-47D Thunderbolt, and here is a picture of a bubble top Thunderbolt. Now, obviously they're very similar, but there is a couple of things that they edited for the N version of the Thunderbolt that they realized was wrong with the D version. Obviously, you know, with the whole canopy thing, I'm pretty sure that was just for visibility purposes. If you look at the Razorback, I mean, you're just caged in, and you don't really have a lot of good visibility everywhere. Honestly, it looks pretty boxy and not the sleekest of designs. Still a cool looking aircraft, but having that bubble top on there just looks way cooler, honestly. I mean, come on. You sit higher up on the airplane and you have a bubble canopy so you can see everywhere around you. They got this idea actually from a Hawker Typhoon. So if you look at early versions of the P-47, there is a visible difference between that and as of a later version. Now, there is one thing when it comes to stabilization in an airplane. This thing is basically a giant circle. I mean, it really is a flying circle in the air. And it only has one stabilizer, one vertical stabilizer to kind of keep it stable. And if you're carrying so much weight in an airplane, the main key role of having so much weight to so much power ratio is you gotta have vertical stabilization. Now, what ended up happening is in high speeds, the P-47 would actually lose control and not be able to pull out of some of the high G and high speed turns that it was going into and dives and stuff. So what they ended up having to do was to put a fin, a dorsal fin, leading up to the rudder. And this helped with a lot of that stabilization problem. Now, because the P-47 had the fastest dive ratio out of all of the other fighters at the time, this is why they had to add that extra dorsal fin, because the thing went 530 to 540 miles per hour in a dive. I mean, this thing was just, it was a bomb itself. It just dropped out of the air, kind of, because it was so heavy. And even at 10,000 feet, this thing could go 500 miles an hour. Now, these stats are actually from a real pilot himself in an interview, and that is just such a cool fact because these things were faster than P-51s, really. I mean, P-51s, what, went 430 to 470? Because of these crazy dive speeds, the airplane actually underwent compressibility, which means that the pressure was too high and it flattened out all of the control surfaces, so they literally didn't have any control whatsoever. But they were able to fix this. They actually equipped the new P-47Ns with a blunt nose aileron. This P-47 was equipped with blunt nose ailerons, and what those were actually electronically operated dive flaps when the wing underwent intense pressure, and it helped with dive recovery. So those flaps would pop open, slow the aircraft down so that you could regain controllability of the stick. The other thing that they added to the P-47Ns were actually a new drop tank system so they could carry more fuel, and they also fixed a problem with the fuel lines and stuff. Basically, I mean, really, there's the same aircraft. You sit a little higher in the P-47Ns, you have more visibility, you can go a little bit further, and you're a little bit safer when flying and trying to destroy your enemies. So this model kit features two different variations: Little Meaty's Meat Chopper and this other P-47 that was operated by Ollie Simpson. So Ollie Simpson was in the 57th Pursuit Group in 41 to 45. He trained in P-40s, and he actually trained with the RAF in the Middle East. He was active in 44 in a P-47, just like this one, in bombing and strafing runs on railways, bridges, military vehicles, and mostly he was located in Florence, but he was actually active in the southern France invasion, and he was also active in northern Italy. Now, you can check out, just stay tuned for the build video on these guys. I built two versions, and you can see those two versions. This thing is just sweet. It's just cherry. So, on to the next one. Next up, we have this guy, which the box art actually features this aircraft. This was a Little Meaty's Meat Chopper, and Lieutenant Oscar F. Padermo flew this P-47 in the 507th in 1945. The little baby there is of his firstborn son. I don't know who would want their firstborn son to wear a Tom hat, carry a gun, and smoke a cigar at the age that they're at, but I guess he wanted that. But anyways, this guy was an amazing pilot, and he served our country. First mission in July 2nd in 1944, he escorted B-29s to Kyushu, wherever that is in Japan. Lieutenant Paterno was a particular pilot because he was an ace in a day. He shot down 5 enemy aircraft in one day, and he was the last pilot in the U.S. Air Force to do so, which is a really cool fact. He was the last dude to be able to kill 5 people in one day. God, why did I say that? Why did I say that? Anyways, he shot down 4 Ki-84 Franks on his last mission. And also he shot down a Willow Type 93 biplane trainer. His last mission was in 45 that year, so he served for a year, and he became an ace in the day, and he flew alongside those sweet B-29s, which I have yet to build, but will do in soon videos. But anyways, this guy was an incredible dude and an incredible story, and we're just so glad to have all this great history about these incredible aircraft today. So thank you guys so much again for watching. Stay tuned for the full build video of these dudes, these two P-47s, and we'll see you in future videos. So let's get back to building.